Welcome to an Edge Appliance introduction using LexEnergy's LIMS Appliance. I'm Nat Frampton, Director of Engineering for LexEnergy, and I am the inventor of the solution family of software and the LIMS Appliance that you see behind me. What we're going to do is talk about an Edge Appliance and how it can help you digitize your processes and show you what business value you can gain. So don't worry about all the acronyms and things. We'll go through this as we go, and thank you for listening. So how can you start your digital transformation to bring value to your company? And what's a digital transformation? So you have a lot of equipment around the plant. So we have machine tools, subtractive, we have additive printers, we may have robots, CMMs, existing controllers, and I/O that you might already have. And you have that information, and in talking to every engineer, they tell me about the types of things. Here's the information I wish I had. I wish I could do some engineering analysis on that. So here's some of the business values we could get. We could do operational research. You know, things run really well during the day, but at night, I'm the second shift, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I heard about machine learning where they could tell me things about my process that I don't already know or could find, help me set parameters or set points within my system. That would be great. I have a couple different facilities and I'd like to be able to integrate those together. We have customer portals so that a customer says, hey, I'd like to know where my job is, and I don't want to sit there on the phone all day to be able to do that and have somebody just dedicated to that. What if we had a way that they could just get access to that? And finally, with the operational reporting that we've put together, we can analyze your operations and help you optimize them. So those are some of the things that people would like to be able to do. And in order to do that, we first have to get to a computer being able to understand what you're doing. And that's this digitization. So what we've done is been working over this for the last 20 years, and we've tried to help you move from having the existing hardware to realizing some of those business values. And we've done that by creating an appliance and some software that runs inside of it. The software inside is called Solution Engine, and the piece of hardware that you'll stick in your plant, you can see it's kind of small, go up on the wall or wherever you'd like, is the LIMS appliance. And our value in this is that you are designed as the user. If you understand your operation, you can work with your equipment, you already have all the computer skills you're going to need in order to be able to configure this appliance. So this appliance was designed to try to help operators be able to, and engineers be able to touch their process, be able to analyze it, be able to come up with new understanding of their process, be able to collect that data, be able to look at it historically, be able to interact or move data to databases, and finally be able to get the results from that analysis and improve your process. So that's what the LIMS appliance and solution family of software was being able to do. Solution Engine's a little piece of software running within the computer in the LIMS appliance. That's the orange box up in the corner, and the black box in the middle right is some additional I/O in case you needed some more information. So our goal is to take the appliance and put it in there. The appliance was designed around being very low cost, lower cost than a lot of PLCs or something like that that you might want to be able to bring in, and the support and installation of the device can be just done in a minute. It's got a 110 volt power plug. You just plug it in the wall, and sometimes you'll set it on a some area in near your production or at the edge. So let's talk about what the edge means. So the edge, you hear the word out there, and what it really means is to get this appliance and set it on the edge of the system. You may bolt it on the wall right by it. So literally trying to get as close to the process as you can, and that's what edge is defined around, on the edge of your equipment. LIMS, because the world needed another acronym, we created a piece of hardware, so you have to have an acronym. So I created one. I called it the Learning Integrated Manufacturing System. So learning, it'll learn what you're doing. It'll help you understand what you're doing. It'll record keep even when you're busy doing something else. This system's going to go and help you do that. And most importantly, that LIMS system is there to help you try to reach some of these business goals. We see it connecting to a database, or we see it connecting to a cloud. And most importantly here is the appliance does not require the cloud. So all of the intelligence that can happen within the device is there and can run with or without connectivity to outside systems. And importantly, the data is yours. So as we get some information from your devices, maybe we can connect to them because they're intelligent, but maybe we can't. So we just wire out some sensors and we figure out a temperature of a bath or a temperature of a motor that's going on. We can look at the current coming in on a particular device. All of that information is available so we can start trying to realize that business value. But most importantly, the design goal around the LIMS appliance and the solution family software was there is only going to be a single tool called Solution Builder that will completely configure the system. And what I'm going to do at the end of this is give you a quick demonstration of doing that. And not only is it about getting information from your system, but it's also allowing you to control it. So if you want to find out that a temperature has gone over a particular limit that you've set and you want to do something about it, you want to turn on some cooling, you want to just set a light stack just to say, hey, something's going on, you want to send an email. Outputs are also part of this. So it was built as a control system. The LIMS appliance was designed around explosive manufacturing for the U.S. Army. So it's got a very long pedigree of being able to run critical operations. And so that's this little box that we bring to you to be able to allow you to move forward in this digital transformation from taking what you have as far as devices go and moving them forward so we can realize some of this business value. We want to do it simply, and we want to make sure that you understand that you can do it. We're here to help, but certainly all of it is a very trainable, easy technology to learn. So let's move forward. Let's take a look at the LIMS application flow. So basically, in order to use the appliance, we're going to connect our single tool called Solution Builder, and we'll only do 5 things. Everything we do is kind of wrapped up into one of 5 things. So the first thing is you got a bunch of equipment. So all of that equipment needs to connect. Now, you all can raise your hands, but how many of you have an I/O system around your shot peen booth? I haven't encountered anybody. So basically what we want to do is maybe find out the pressure or temperature that we're at the shot peen booth. We want to bring that back, or a paint gun, whatever we're using. So we're going to connect to the equipment. Now, we may connect to the equipment by directly wiring something in or talking to an intelligent system. So the LIMS appliance speaks over 50 different industrial protocols. So all those, and we'll enumerate them in a minute, but just if you have a piece of equipment that speaks, we can probably talk to it. And if you don't, we can just wire into the black box inside of LIMS and bring in some I/O wires for a temperature sensor, current sensor, pressure sensor, whatever you need. So that's the first step, connect to the equipment. Second step is a lot of times that data may be noisy. Maybe I want to just smooth it and do a simple filter. So what we have is inside the solution engine is a little analytics engine, and I actually call it the statistics engine. So basically it's what you could do and take some data and run some filters on it. Maybe look at a rate of change. Maybe you have a power that's coming in, a current, and you want to integrate it into kilowatt hours so you know what your footprint is, your carbon footprint is for a particular part. So that's the second step. And we may come back to the analytics after we get some data and store it and analyze it even further. But a lot of times you're filtering and doing some work because the data coming in off the equipment isn't always perfect. The next thing we want to do is be able to collect that data. And again, no cloud required, and the data is yours. So one of the things we don't do is monitor the data usage and charge you for every time you store some data, give you tag limits or anything like that. You just collect your data to the database you choose. IT may set up a SQL database. You could put a database in the cloud if you wanted to. You don't have to. And or you can just store it locally on the LIMS device. It has 16 gigs of storage. So again, now we've gotten data in, we've analyzed a little bit, maybe filtered the temperature, and finally we're going to collect that data. So now we've got some information. And remember, anytime data goes into a database, don't worry about it. If you're not a database jockey, they call them, or somebody that's comfortable with databases, we're going to make sure that you can just right-click on that data and say, put it out to Excel. Because I'm a mechanical engineer by training, so Excel makes a lot of sense to me, and so I've always made sure our tools go straight out to Excel. Now, If you did have Azure, if you did have AWS or whatever cloud you're interested in Google Cloud, we can take that data and move it directly out to tables out in Azure, so you could see it in Power BI or do something like that. We can also connect directly to, we can look at machine learning and get results coming back in. So we have reports of data going back out, and where production is, we have information coming back out. So that might be the fourth step. So got some data in, we cleaned it up, we collected it, we may move some data back out, and now once we figured out how to improve the process, the most important thing is to be able to control it, do something about it. And that may be at the beginning just a simple light stack. And then you start to get some trust. Okay, well, that opinion coming back in, or the analytics that I created within Solution Builder, and just a simple rule that might do that. And we have rules, so you can just say exactly how you're going to coordinate your improvement into the process back with the existing process flow. So that's a simple rules engine, a simple flow chart. And I'm going to give you a demonstration of this. So don't worry, nothing's going to be too complicated. I think you'll get it. And again, in that controlling the process, the way in which I designed the rules engine and its display was just talking to hundreds of users and operators, saying, "What do you understand how this works? Does that flow make sense to you?" And we kept changing it until people started saying, "Yeah, that made a lot of sense." So we can control the process. We can literally turn on and off equipment. We can just give you this normal light stack result you see back here, or we just send you an email at 2 o'clock in the morning. Would you like to know that your printer went down? And maybe you ought to turn off the oven that's preheating for that part when you come in at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whenever that is. So again, those are the 5 steps. Get the data, clean it up, collect it, send it in and out to a cloud, or connect to some analytics, and finally be able to control that process. So that's the 5 steps that we're going to do, and I'll give you a demonstration at the end of this presentation. Here's a look at LIMS on the floor. Don't worry about where you're going to be able to put the LIMS box, because you can hide it and put it on the edge of your system. So you'll see it connecting and setting near a robot, setting it right next to some inspection equipment. Bottom right is a chocolate factory. Sorry, I didn't open that vat right there, but that's full of chocolates underneath, so it's watching chocolates go by. Put it up on a fence, wherever you need it. The goal is that it's a small appliance that is unassuming, and sometimes when you look inside, that's all that's in there. But I'll give you a demonstration, and we'll get an idea of being able to realize all those business values that we had talked about earlier, and being able to do that with basically an intelligent system, an intelligent edge device, and some I/O, and being able to speak all of these protocols. And most importantly, that edge appliance having all of that intelligence inside, like being able to get data, analyze it, store it, moving to and from all the databases and clouds you can think of, and finally controlling it. So let's take a look inside the LIMS appliance, and I use the word surrounded by standards, and that's the goal. If your equipment, somebody's already taken the time to have your equipment talk a certain way, we're going to connect to it. Those may be old school standards like Modbus Serial, Modbus TCP. We speak, if you have a CMM, maybe it speaks PC-DMIS. Want to be able to connect to over 50 different protocols. You want to store some data, and your IT group has a favorite database. We'll probably talk to it, whether it's MySQL or SQL or it's Oracle. We can move in and out to the clouds as well. So we want to be able to do that. It's an application platform, so if you had a software group, not many people do, but if you do, they would be comfortable in being able to even add additional software to the LIMS appliance. Connects via Ethernet and can speak to most of the protocols. It has old serial interfaces. It also has the ability, if you're in trouble, just wire in a sensor. Don't worry about it. And I'll give you an idea of what some low-cost sensors are. Be able to bring and get information from your system. Again, our goal is to be able to digitize, to be able to get a computer-readable form of what you're doing on the floor and your equipment. So all of that's available. Again, if we get into trouble, so on the you see a computer, you see a digital I/O module, and some power just to get you 24-volt power. This system has been running. We've got systems that are running for over 10 years in the factory. We've got one system that's doing aging studies that's been running for 10 years without a reboot. So we have good confidence that you've got a system that's used to critical operations and running 24/7. So we've talked a lot about digitization, getting business value, trying to understand exactly what you're doing. And we say that this appliance does it all. So again, I'm a mechanical engineer, so you got to show me. So what I'm going to do now is move on to a demonstration to show you the simplicity of the solution builder interface configuring the LIMS appliance.